birth story with my son. My son will be 5 months this month, and he is such a gift from God to me. I love him to pieces, and my birth was a little tough, so but I knew my birth was going to be tough because I had a very tough pregnancy with my son. So don't be intimidated or scared if you have never had experienced childbirth with a vaginal delivery. Everyone is different. Mine is just a little dramatic, and it's not always like that for other people. I'm just one of those people that have had a dramatic experience. So today's storytime video will be about the birth of my son. So I hope you like this video. First things first, I had a rough pregnancy. I got really sick, and before you watch this video, just watch my pregnancy symptom video before you watch this one, just because it will all make sense when I'm explaining how bad my delivery was. And also, just before I start my video, I just want to tell you guys, if you've never experienced childbirth before, this is not trying to scare any of you guys away from childbirth. Childbirth is beautiful, it's amazing, and I still want 3 more kids. So, child experience. If I can do it, anyone can do it, honestly. So let me start off by saying that yes, I did have a rough pregnancy. I was sick for the first 20 weeks. I threw up everything that I ate. I could not take anything. I had to actually get prescribed medication in order to eat stuff, and in order to like have water and everything like that, without throwing everything back out. So after the 20 weeks though, I loved pregnancy. Pregnancy went by so quick after the first 20 weeks, and it was so much fun, and I started eating, and I was able to have an appetite again, and I ate everything. I was always hungry. My son was a big boy. He was very big. He was close to 9 pounds, and I'm only 5'1". Before my pregnancy, I weighed 118, and when I delivered him, I was 150. I was 150. So that was drastic. They told me that I could only gain up to 50 pounds, so I did pretty well. They didn't want me to gain more than 60 pounds, so I did pretty good. Anyway, let me start with the day that I had my baby. Well, it took 2 days. So basically on February 18th was his due date. My birthday was the 15th of February. So the weekend of my birthday, my doctor told me that I would for sure have the baby by that weekend, and she didn't think that I'd have to come in for a checkup. Well, he didn't come. I was really wanting him to. I didn't really care. Like, I kind of wanted him to come on my birthday because I thought it'd be kind of cool, because it would be like the best birthday present. So I really didn't care. I was expecting my water to break naturally, but it didn't. The 18th came around, and I went into an appointment, and my doctor did a stress test on me. So she wanted to look at that, and my contractions were there. I had contractions, but I didn't feel it yet because I was still only dilated to 1 centimeter. And I had been for the past 2 weeks, near the ending of my pregnancy. I was 40 weeks exactly when I took that stress test. After having a stress test, I believe you do a the stress test was, I think, 30 minutes to an hour long. She looked at me for. After it was done, she said I had to go to the hospital. She told me that she didn't want me to go any further with this pregnancy, and she wanted me to have the baby now before it gets too late, and it would be unsafe if I kept being pregnant. So she said I didn't have to rush, because she checked me and I was still at 1 centimeter. So what she did was and then she sent me on our way. She said we did not have to rush. We could even go home and get something to eat. So what me and my husband did was we were pretty calm, honestly, for first time parents, but I really was hungry. My last was um, Firehouse Subs. I had the Italian sandwich, and we went there to eat. And we we ate. We went home to check on our dogs, and we let them out. And then we went to the hospital because we were kind of excited. We were more of excited than nervous. But when we got there, I instantly felt contractions. I felt very nauseous and sick, and I was kind of getting those like hormones that I got in my first trimester and second trimester with like sickness. But I never threw up or anything, but I was just kind of getting nauseous. And maybe it was because of the excitement. I really don't know. And I was having contractions. And guys, I swear to you, like when we checked in and we were waiting, I thought that the worst was coming. And it really wasn't. I was still at a 1 centimeter when we got into the room and then we got checked. I was still at 1 centimeters. So what they had to do for me, because I was not dilating, guys. I was just not dilating. My body didn't want to. I don't know what happened. Like, I have no idea. But anyway, the doctors had to give me a round of Cervidil. So, if you guys don't know what Cervidil is, this is a TMI. So excuse what like this is so TMI. So what it is it's a little pill that they have to shove up in your vagina. And it's basically, you get it every 3 to 4 hours to help promote labor. So if it didn't work the first time, you get a second round. And of course it didn't work for me the first time, so I got a second round of it. So we were praying and praying and praying that by my second round of Cervidil, because I had 2 rounds of Cervidil, that it would promote my labor and I would start the labor process. Well, it worked. My second round worked. So, like I said, it's 3 to 4 hours, but at Winnie Palmer, we went to Winnie Palmer. I should have said that from the beginning, but we did go to Winnie Palmer Hospital, and it was the best hospital. It's the best hospital ever. I mean, we went to a hospital tour. We loved it. And obviously I delivered my son there and I loved it. I had a great experience with them. They're really good. But anyway, so when I had my second round of Cervidil, it was the next day, because it's 3 to 4 hours that you take the pill. But at Winnie Palmer, they did it like every 5 or 6 hours. So it would take longer. So it would make it, I don't know how they explained it. How they explained it was you take it 5 to 6. Online it says like 34, but Winnie Palmer gave it to me 5 to 6 hours. And so by my second round, I was dilating so quick. I was in pain. It was 5 in the morning and I woke up with contractions. I had a great night's sleep, by the way. Like, Winnie Palmer has really comfortable beds. After my first round of Cervidil, I was drugged up, but I fell asleep and I didn't think anyone was going to wake me up. It was such a God thing. It was such a God thing that I really slept. I had a good night's sleep, because I'll explain why in just a minute. Like, it's crazy how my birth was, because I needed that energy. So I fell asleep after my second round of Cervidil at around 12 at night. Or no, I think it was earlier than that. Like, I had my second round, maybe. They woke me up at 12, so I was like on and off sleeping. They woke me up at 12, the nurses did, to put the Cervidil back in, or put another round of Cervidil in me. And I was sleeping until like 6 or 7. 6 or 7, I woke up with huge contractions, guys. I was in pain. I was like, ah! Like, I was like, whoo, like, because I didn't know any breathing techniques. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was just in pain, so I was screaming because my labor was starting without me knowing. I didn't know. Like, I didn't think this was it. And I was just, like, freaking out, like, in pain. Austin's, like, he's so shocked. He's not even saying anything. He's calling his mom, like, I think Kayla's going to go into labor soon. and they checked me. I was at a 4. I was 4 centimeters dilated. And I was like, this isn't even the worst of it. Oh my gosh, like this is so painful. And I'm like sitting there screaming, and I will never forget this woman's name. I'm not going to say it because of like security reasons. But the nicest woman came in to my room, and she taught me some breathing exercises, and instantly my pain went away, and it wasn't that bad. But I'm going to stop right here and just tell you guys, like, if you are pregnant right now, please, please, please take breathing classes. Go and take, if you know you're going to have a vaginal delivery, go and take those breathing classes, because it will pay off and work itself out. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I just went in to wing it. I just went in and totally thought, like, I knew I didn't think it was gonna be as hard as it was. I thought, because like everyone does it, like it's gonna be easy. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be super hard like it really was. But anyway, so I'm at a 4 centimeters, and at 4 centimeters, they're like, all right, like, you're gonna have to get ready. And we had ordered breakfast. And if you guys have ever been to Winnie Palmer, you know that at Winnie Palmer, the moms get free meals. And so I was ready to have my breakfast before I gave birth. Like, I wanted to have my breakfast. I was hungry. I'm 41 weeks pregnant, or 40 weeks pregnant in one day. So I wanted food. I was hungry. And honestly, thank God I didn't have food. Oh my gosh, I probably would have thrown up. But I did not throw up during my delivery. But I'll get there in a second. So, basically, I got to a 5 really quick, and they rushed me down to labor and delivery. And Austin was calling my mom and his mom, because they were the other 2 people that were going to be in the room with us, to get over here, because we thought that because I was dilating so quick from the second round of Cervidil that I was going to be in labor. So anyway, I will say, right before they brought me down to labor and delivery, my mucus plug finally came out, and that's something that that doctors will always look for, and nurses, right before you are in the give labor, is that mucus plug. And so it finally came out, and I was like, oh, now I know it's getting real. Not only was I freaking out from my contractions, but my mucus plug fell out. So when they wheeled me down and I finally got in the labor and delivery room, they asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I was so against not getting one, but I was already at 6 centimeters. I was already at 6 centimeters, and I was in pain, and agony pain. I can't even imagine, like, and I was like, okay, yes, I'll take one, because this freaking hurts. So they gave me an epidural, and I instantly felt better. Instantly. Like, my epidural worked so quick, and my pain went away. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel anything. This is awesome. But I was going to have Pitocin. They're going to give me Pitocin, which speeds up the process, I believe. And then they also broke my water. So they broke my water. I don't know which step came first, but I know I got Pitocin, and I know that they broke my water. And when they broke my water, I felt everything. Like, I felt like I was peeing, but it really wasn't pee, obviously. Like, I don't even know. Your body is so weird. Like, I can't even explain it. Like, us women, like, we're like crazy. It's amazing. But after my water broke, my epidural was still doing well. I quickly got to a 10 centimeters, and I was able, right before, I was at a 10 centimeters, which felt like forever, and they didn't let me push until a certain time, and I was like, when you're in that position and you're ready to push, your body like wants you to push. So I wanted to push for so long, and I swear to you guys, like, and by the way, I was doing vaginal delivery, so Um, I did a vaginal delivery, so I was about to push. And I wanted to, but the doctor told me no. The doctor said, I cannot push yet. And I kid you not, guys, my body wanted to push so bad. And I was like, no, I gotta push. I have to push. And she was like, no, you have to listen to me. William will get hurt if you push right now. Do not push. And so it's like, oh my gosh. Like, if someone tells you about that, like, you're not gonna do it. So, like, my mom, Austin's mom, and him were just like, don't do it. Like, you can't do that. You're gonna hurt him. Like, don't do it. So I was like, okay, I'm not. So it hurt so bad to hold that in. But then finally, she was like, now you can push. And I gave it all my might and I pushed. But guys, I pushed wrong for a whole hour. Dude, guys, like, oh my gosh. I pushed my son for 3 hours long. I was in active labor for 24 hours and I pushed him for 3. In the first hour, I did it all wrong. I pushed all wrong. And I will tell you why. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, it was my first baby. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's why I'm telling you guys, like, if you're pregnant right now, take my advice. Because I didn't listen to anyone. I just thought, like, you could just, like, wing it and be okay. Because I just hear that, like, you just push for a little bit and you're fine. Everyone's different, by the way. Like, everyone's different. But I'm telling you, if I could go back, I would have taken a class, like a pushing class and, like, a breathing class with my partner, like, with my husband. But I didn't, and I think that's why I was pushing for 3 hours. So anyway, by my first hour, I was pushing wrong. And then by my second hour, I was pushing right. His head came out a little bit, not a lot. But because his head came out a little bit, they couldn't C-section me. I spiked a fever during my delivery. I spiked a huge fever, and they had to give medicine to bring it back down through my, they had to give me medicine to spike down my fever through my IV so it wouldn't affect me or baby. So that was pretty scary because I felt myself getting a fever, and I was obviously sweating because you're pushing, but I knew there was something wrong. Like, I knew in my heart and my body there was something wrong, and I remember looking at Austin and I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is so hard. You're gonna have to let me go. Like, I literally, guys, I thought that I was going to die. I'm not kidding. Like, I thought, like, this was, like, such a near-death experience for me. I didn't feel safe. Like, I just felt like I was going to, like, die. I looked at Austin like, I can't do this anymore. You're gonna have the baby without me. So anyway, that didn't happen, thankfully. They brought down my fever through my IV, and by the 3rd hour, I did push my baby out, and it was the hardest day of my life. It was harder than any test I've ever taken in my life. It was hard. It was hard. It was like I worked out for so long. And by the way, by my 2nd hour of pushing, my epidural wore off. I felt everything. Like, I didn't understand that when I wasn't pregnant, when people would tell me, like, their epidural wore off. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because I got my epidural so early. So I got my epidural as soon as I started dilating. I was only at a 6 when I got it. 5 or 6 when I got it. And then it wore off because I was pushing for so long. And I ended up having my son, I think, at 8:24 p.m. on a Tuesday on February 19th, 2019. And, oh yeah, when I pushed him out by the 3rd hour, or by 3 hours, in the 3-hour mark, they should have C-sectioned me. And they told me that at the end, because they didn't want to freak me out, but they should have C-sectioned me, but they couldn't because his head was already out of my vagina. So it's like, you can't C-section someone when the head's already out. Like, that's impossible. You can't do that. So they didn't do that. Thankfully, they knew what they were doing. They're really good. They're great at what they do. So they didn't do that, and when I pushed out my son, I was waiting to hear him cry. He did not cry. He came out very, very quiet and didn't cry. The doctors instantly put oxygen over him. And also, when I did push him out, he ended up having shoulder dysphagia. Dysphagia. I don't know. It's either shoulder dysphagia or shoulder dysphagia. Guys, if you guys really know me, you know I'm so bad at vocabulary. It's not even funny. Anyway, he had what I call it shoulder dysphagia. Tell me if I'm wrong. Probably am, but he had that, and what it means is when he came out of the birth canal, his shoulders went like his shoulders got stuck basically out of me, which was scary. Because the shoulders, man, they're hard to. That's like the hardest part was the shoulders. The head wasn't even the hardest part. It was the shoulders, and I felt everything. It was horrible. But when I pushed him fully out, I literally saw my husband's face, and I thought my kid was dead. Because when I looked at Austin's face, all I could see was like horror in his face, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is he okay? And obviously Austin, when William came out of me, Austin and his mom were right there, and my mom was by me. And so I looked at my mom and I'm like, is he okay? Is he breathing? Because I didn't hear the cry. And they had to take William over to put oxygen on him. And I was like freaking out. My mom's like, yeah, baby, he's okay. Without like, but I know my mom, and we're really close. We're like best friends, and she didn't really know. I could tell in her voice that it was dry. Like, she didn't know if he really was okay, and she was even worried about him. And I've never watched a birth or anything. I've only had a birth. Like, I've only experienced my own birthing experience with my son. But has watched her daughter and me give birth have watched a birth 3 times or even more, and she said that out of all of them, mine was the hardest one to watch because of the way William was and how big he was compared to me. And like, she just said it was gross. Like, she's like, I just felt like his everything was broken when he came out because he was just so heavy. And like, what the midwife was awesome, like, at what she did. As soon as she came in and she got me going, like, she got me into this motion, and she was like, you gotta get him out, let's get your baby out. And she was very, very, I can't explain it, she was so good that I just wanted him out. Like, she just pushed me to like get him out, and it was perfectly fine. Like, she was amazing. I should have got her name, but obviously there was too much chaos going around that like I didn't catch it. But yeah, she was really good anyway. But when I guess like what my mother-in-law was saying was like she grabbed him like in a weird way, and like she just like, I mean, she knew what she was doing, but it just freaked my husband and my mother-in-law out. By the way, Austin saw my whole birth. He was right there underneath me like the whole time. He wasn't by my head. He was literally watching the whole birth. He was exactly what he said he wouldn't do. It was funny because when we would talk about my birth and stuff, he's like, oh, I would never watch you give birth. That's gross. But he watched the whole thing, and he did great. He was very, very great when I gave birth. I'm not complaining about him. He'd never slept. He didn't sleep when I was giving birth or anything like that. He was up the whole time. He was very encouraging. He was, I mean, like, I fell even more in love with him when I was giving birth. Like, it's a very intense situation, and I mean, it was crazy. But I had the best experience at Winnie. I did have a follow-up 6-week appointment, because obviously everyone does, but when I had a follow-up 6-week appointment, my doctor did tell me that from now on, Austin and I will, like, we were predicted to have, Liam William was predicted to be a super big baby. Like, he was like exactly how much he weighed is what my doctor predicted he was going to weigh in the beginning of my pregnancy. I don't know how, but it was. I don't know how in the world she did that. Doctors are crazy, but she did. And so I trust what she says when she says that, like, we're going to have big babies, because she said our next one will even be bigger. Because, like, usually the second ones, I guess, are bigger than the first. Not always, but she told me, like, that's usually what happens. But I was like, are you kidding me? So she told me that it's just gonna be safer for me and future babies if I have C-sections. So from now on, I have to have C-sections. But I'm actually, honestly, secretly so happy about that, because man, there's nothing about vaginal delivery that, like, excites me anymore. Like, that was so hard. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's harder, like, giving birth for 3 hours or being sick for 20 weeks. Both of those were pretty horrible. But, and he was at birth, so that's all I could ask for. And yeah, I mean, that's my birth story. Just thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, where I'll be posting videos once a week. And if I don't get to it that week, I'll probably follow up that next week to post a video. If you guys have any ideas for me to see what you guys would like to see, I usually do story times or day in the lives, or I try my best to do something different and be creative. But if you have any ideas for what you want to see from me, please comment down below, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks. Bye.